All right, EA just had their EA Play event type of thing, their live stream revealing new games that they would typically do during an E3. Of course, E3 isn't a thing right now. I don't usually do quick reaction videos for stuff like this, but a lot of people asked, and there are a few core things. I am excited to talk about it. It's interesting because this was a little bit of an underwhelming presentation. It didn't blow the doors down. It was a little light. It was lean, so to speak. I think it was underwhelming because expectations were high. Now, that's not like a slight against people who were hoping for more. It's literally because the EA potential is huge. They could have brought back Fight Night, the thing that people like me beg for every year. They could have had a new MMA game where it actually looks really solid. Mass Effect Trilogy Remastered. The Return of Dead Space. Literally anything. I could go on and on. But instead of that, unfortunately, we only got a couple of things. A couple of things very interesting. Hazelight Studios, headed up by Joseph Fares, the fuck the Oscars guy. They announced their new game, It Takes Two, and I actually think I'm excited to hear that they're making a new game, but it was pretty much a disappointment for me because they barely showed anything, didn't really tell me much at all about it. I still have no idea what this thing is other than that they're sticking with their very interesting two-player co-op thing, which I absolutely love. So I wanted more on that. But on the flip side, we got a lot for Star Wars Squadrons. I'm going to be totally honest. I think that this should be the blueprint for how they reveal or break down some games, because we got info on everything. The single player campaign, how it goes down. We got to see gameplay. We got to see cutscenes. We got a breakdown of the multiplayer modes. We got a breakdown of the progression and the cosmetics and the customization. And that was really impressive. I would have loved a little bit more diving into the gameplay, because with the interview with the creative director, I was really blown away by, number one, his passion for Star Wars. You know, I love Star Wars. That actually kind of resonated with me. But he kind of spoke how there's going to be some skill-based stuff. They talked about how it's going to be accessible and easy for anybody. But for players who really want to master things, they were talking about doing special maneuvers and techniques. And you do see really cool quick turns and zero gravity type stuff in the gameplay. But also managing your shields properly, forward and backward, depending on where the action is, and also managing power for your weapon. That stuff is awesome. I want to hear that as a Star Wars fan. Not to mention the fact that I love VR. I know it's not for everyone. I know it's not really at this point the next big thing, but I am an enthusiast. I do love playing it, and I'm really excited to hear that you can play the whole game in VR, including multiplayer, and then the multiplayer is going to be cross-play. That, to me, is incredibly impressive. This seems like a very ambitious game, considering it's all first-person, it's all cockpit-based, and all of the gameplay relies on the instrument panel. That's... wow. I gotta be honest, I think this one sounds good. I really hope they don't screw it up. You know, everybody says EA, but EA is the worst. Yes, I get it. They've made some big old goofs. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but the fact that they're saying that this game specifically is not pay to win and everything in the game you earn by playing the game is at least a good step. I'm going to have to see it to really truly believe it, of course, but that's my job. I'm going to dive into it, so I'll be able to tell you guys at least. And I'm excited because, yes, I'm a Star Wars fan, but I'm also, kind of 50-50 on pilot and dogfighting games in the Star Wars universe. For me, as a Star Wars fan, I come more for the Force and lightsabers and adventure. Other people come for spaceships and explosions and stuff like that, and that's why I love Star Wars. It's so big that different people can come to it for different reasons. So while I'm not a die-hard X-Wing pilot fan or super big fan of the old TIE Fighter games, anything like that, I do really like the Rebel Assault games, though. Those are awesome. I just like what they're doing here, and it is exciting. The fact that there are different classes represented by different real-world Star Wars ships. I just love seeing that stuff. I can't wait to fly a TIE bomber. I cannot wait to fly a Y-Wing. I really wish there was a B-Wing in the game. That's probably going to be DLC. God damn it. Still, I like what they're doing, and it is going to be a lower-priced game, and they've kind of already... There's been rumors saying that the single-player campaign isn't going to be super long, reflective of that. I'm okay with that, but I am really hoping they don't miss the potential to capitalizing on the fact that you're playing as both the good guys and the Empire, because there are so many actually really interesting stories to tell from the Empire's perspective to learn about the Empire. If you read Star Wars books, you probably know what I'm talking about, but they could do that pretty well, especially the Battlefront 2 single-player campaign, also co-worked on with EA Motive, was really potentially good. It was just too short and rushed, but there were some interesting things in there, and you could tell that some of the people behind the scenes really did care, so I'm hoping that we get that here. We also got Lost in Random, which I'm excited about because it looks like a really cool Tim Burton style game. I love that type of art style. It's creative, it's weird. Also, like, they kind of teased Dragon Age a little bit in like the teaser vignette. They mentioned Battlefield briefly, so like they are working on those things, but nothing to show, which has kind of been a theme for EA, these presentations in the past, if I'm honest. But again, ultimately, this presentation was a little bit of a bummer, but at least they did announce a new Skate game. How you thought I wasn't going to mention that? That's like the whole reason I wanted to make this video. They announced a new Skate. They didn't say specifically Skate 4, but they did show a video with the two creative directors from the Skate game saying that they're back. They're making a new one, and they very specifically stressed that it's still a very long ways away. They're still in the early stages. They have new ideas. They said they have a reason to come back, which makes me think that this might be something totally different or a new approach, not just a direct Skate 4. What if it's a mobile game? Sorry, I'm thinking out loud. I don't think that's going to be the case, but this is still an exciting announcement because the internet has been begging for this thing forever. I love skateboarding games. It's a great time for skateboarding games with Session, Skater XL, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remastered announced. So there's a lot to look forward to, and I'm glad Skate is now on that pile, even though it's far away, which I'm very curious. I want to hear from you guys in the comments, like, what you'd prefer. Would you rather hear about them making a game so far off where they can't show anything, but you're just happy to know it exists? Or would you rather wait and listen to schmucks like me on the internet talk about rumors every week and then finally get a real big reveal when you get to actually see the game? Sometimes it's a little bit of both. Here, I appreciate they know the internet is crazy, so they decided to, at least throw us a bone, but I don't want this to become the norm with every single game announced. It reminds me of when EA announced Jedi Fallen Order, and they basically brought out, what's his face from Respawn to be like, yeah, we're making a new Star Wars game and there's lightsabers. This was like the skateboarding equivalent of that. I'm okay with it. I'm still looking forward to it. It's something to look forward to way far down the line now, so at least there's that. So all I'll say is that this was a presentation. I still think a lot of people, I'm already looking at Twitter, people are freaking out saying it's the worst. I think EA's had worse. I think this one was just really lean and light, and there wasn't much to it. But the few things we got, I do actually like, or am at least interested in. Again, like I've said, EA has a bad reputation, so they have to prove it. They have to release these games. They have to really impress us. But that's just where I'm at right now. I wanted to hop on and talk about this. I was kind of excited and interested because I thought it's a good conversation. Let's talk about two things. Number one, do you agree that Star Wars Squadrons, the way they showed this off, is the perfect way to show off a game for people? And number two, are you cool with them announcing games that far down the line? Bethesda's done it before. Yeah, we're making another Skyrim. Stuff like that. Are you cool with that, or would you rather wait and not know anything until it's really worth it? I gotta go back to work. The Last of Us is a thing. I gotta get cracking on that, but I will see you guys soon. Thank you for listening to me ramble. I just like talking about whatever interests me here, so clicking the like button does legit help me out, but thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe because video games.